All right. Good evening, good evening. Today's date is January 22nd. It is a Monday. It's a late Monday for me here on the East Coast, US. I've kind of failed to put this video and my analysis together in a timely fashion. Normally, I like to be able to get these out on Sunday night or early Monday morning. It's late Monday night. So what I want to do is kind of look at the previous week, take a look and see what happened, and as always, I want to analyze what I feel like we may see in this up and coming week here for January 22nd to the 29th. Now, let's first look at my previous two hypotheses of where I felt price was going to go. Hypo 1 didn't happen. I felt we'd climb higher back up into the 15,000, mid to high 15,000 range. Didn't get there. Hypo 2 was a price breakdown back into the previous week's range, the low end of it around 12.7, and then we would bounce off of that range and come into the 14,000 range, previous week's mid area, midpoint of control. What we really saw was just a continued sell-off, just right into the week, all the way down to 9,000. And we recovered a bit, came back up into the 13,000 high, and we flushed back down lower. Now what we've done is we've kind of created a higher low at this point in time. Now it's hard for me to really know for sure based on these previous weeks as to if this is really going to just push price higher, or we just see kind of the continued trend of this bear market just pop up and then back down lower. I personally feel like we are in for a longer bear market than what some weak hands would like. So I'm being a little bit skeptical right now of that bounce. It's very, very small when you look at the grand scheme of things. So anyways, let's look here at two kind of big differences from the previous week to this week. Previous week we had a range from around 16,000 to about 12.6. So what is that? That is about 3.5k range of price. And then when we look at this most previous week here, we have a much larger range that starts from 14,000 and it went as low as 9.1. So that's about a 5,000 price range or so. So yeah, much broader range of price that we saw from this week here. Let me kind of adjust this. So let's take a look here at a larger time frame again, okay? And what I want to take a look at is where the MACD and stochastics are at right now. We're in oversold territory. MACD is sloping lower still. MACD does not react very quickly to price movement, so we've seen this pop, but yet we still see it sloping down. Stochastics, however, the faster moving average line is curling up, crossing over the slower orange line, which is a bit of a sign of some strength that we might see a little pop in price. Overall, though, when you look at this recent just sell-off, it's just been pretty strong sell-off. It is a big correction though. When you look at the the larger time frame of this thing, it's not as crazy as you think. I just think it's lasting a little bit longer than some people would like it to last. Of course, the weekends, they're getting shook out. And I think if price continues lower to where I feel like it might, you'll see this red line here to 8.8K. If price hits that or drops below that, we're in a bit of a pain territory for a lot of people that bought in, up here in the previous top. Anyone that bought in here, um, they're feeling it. So here's kind of what I feel like we should be looking for in the coming week. I'm gonna be giving two hypos again. Personally, I just don't think we're going to really see a bullish price movement anytime soon for the rest of this month of January and probably into the mid-February, late February. We might be seeing prices just hover around the below 10K range for a period of time. So let's kind of get into what I think is going to happen here moving forward. Let me just adjust this a bit, and we will shrink that. Okay, so hypo 1, I'll just draw it in green here. Hypo 1, this is my most likely scenario that we'll see. Take note here of the point of control, or the main profile from last week. It's really congested right there in the center, and then you'll even see also how we kind of stuck in a range for a little while and then popped out of it, and then we broke down back into that previous point of control, and then went lower. So here's what I think is going to happen for this up and coming week. I think price will come back up into previous mid point of control, and then we'll see price move lower, and ultimately I think that we're going to see price go around to the 8.8 area. Okay, why do I think that? Well, when we look back, I consider a line in the sand, because when we look back at the point in time when price broke through 10,000 for the first time, we saw price just whipsawing all over the place. It went as high as 11,000 all the way back down to 8.8. 8.8, it's kind of a blip, really. But previously we saw it here. If I can zoom in a bit. Previously we saw it here, and that was the last kind of level of support to go off of, that traders went off of. So it bounced off that very nicely. So that's just kind of the most recent lowest line in the sand level of support. So I feel like we're going to see price get down to that range and really just kind of hover and chop around that for a while. So that's hypo 1. Okay. Now, for hypo 2, I think we would see a bit of a slow grind up. Nothing crazy where we're just, to the moon going crazy here. Hypo 2 would be relatively similar to this. I think, though, that we would come back down, and I'm going to turn on the volume profile here. This is going to be a combination of the past 3 weeks here. Okay, so when we look at this, we're going to see, okay, some prominent profiles. Okay, Could use a different color here. We're going to go with hot pink. Okay, so when I think of another possible scenario for this up and coming week, I feel we would come back up into that most recent point of control, and we would then come back down to test previous lows. And I think that we might just respect previous lows and ultimately stay up above 10,000. Okay, both hypos, I just don't think we're going to see any crazy to the moon price action, but we may respect previous week lows and bounce off of it and show strength, and that would really, I think, put a lot of people at ease moving ahead into February. These are my thoughts of what I think will happen. As always, you really need to be able to determine and create your own strategy, your own game plan, and manage your risk appropriately. To also kind of update you on my current position that I still hold, I am still long with an average of around 13.5 or 13.4. I'm holding the March contracts on BitMEX. I chart off of the perpetual inverse swaps, but if I go over here, this is the current price, 10.7. I'm long at 13 and a half, I believe it was. I added on this dip down here. I didn't add that much. Got a few fills to ultimately lower my average to 13. I think it's 13.4, and I am holding. If we see price fall below 18.8, probably would be taking a loss on the trade, closing it out, and most likely rescaling back in to a long position below 10,000. Okay, so that's where I'm at right now. This is my outlook. If you like everything here, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and just continue to check out all of the content that is headed your way. Thank you.